What is going on, traders? We're going to try to make this quick. Like, subscribe, comment your thoughts below. Let's get into the video. So if you've been paying attention to my last, I don't know, 2, 3 videos, I've pretty much been saying that my price target on the NQ is 17,300. This was when it was all the way at 18,300 range. And we finally made it here. So the next question is, what happens next? Do we continue lower? Do I think we're going to get that retest that I've been talking about? It's really tough to say with this Israel and Iran news in the air, but I'm going to give you guys some scenarios or some key levels that I am looking at as far as downside. Now, if you don't know, I've been pretty much bearish short term on the market for like the past week or two. So I'm not a perma bear. I just go by what the charts give me, what my strategy gives me. So hopefully, if you've been following me, you're starting to take these videos seriously because I don't make this stuff up. I've been calling this since NQ was all the way at like 18,500. All right. So my next target on the NQ is 16,800. I mentioned this in the last video that we were going to talk about this target once we get to 17,300, and we finally made it there. We couldn't go as low as 16,500, 16,300. Now, I'm not here to really talk about the NQ. I just want to give you guys those targets. All right. ES so ES, if we give up 5,000, which we've seen like we're trying to hold right now, things can get really ugly. My price target on the ES is 4,900. We can go as low as 4,900 on the ES. Bitcoin. Bitcoin right now is pretty interesting. So on the daily time frame right now, we are retesting this symmetrical triangle, retesting the bottom of the symmetrical triangle. My price target on Bitcoin is 57K. The halving is like what, today or tomorrow or something like that. So be on the lookout for this move. I think Bitcoin is going to start catching up with what the market just did, and we could see that happen sometime this weekend or next week. So be on the lookout for that move. Again, I'm not bullish on Bitcoin right now until it gets back above 75K, 74K range. As of now, short term bearish. I think it can go as low as 52K. We'll talk about that 52K price target when we get to 57K. So now we're going to get into a little bit more detail. So SPY. So I told you guys my price target in the like last few videos that my price target on the SPY was 495. We finally got there. We can go as low as 490. I think we're going to see 490 sometime next week. Now, I don't really have a price target below 490 because honestly, I wasn't prepared for such a big move to happen so soon. But be on the lookout for that price target of 490. As far as upside goes, you want to see SPY break back above 500. And then after that, I told you guys about this. Let's go to the 4 hour time frame. I told you guys about this key level that we have rejected like consistently is 504. If you paid attention this week, we have constantly tried to get above 504. Let's go to a smaller time frame. But we've continued to try to get out of the supply and demand zone at above 504. And we failed twice. We tried here and we tried here. Remember, wicks tell you where sellers and buyers are. And right now, sellers are pretty strong at that 504 level. If we get above 504, we break out of the supply and demand zone and hold, we can head to 507. After 507, you're looking at a move to 510. Right now, as you guys can see, we are just creating lower highs and lower lows on the SPY. So I am pretty bearish right now on the overall market. Okay. I think we're going to see more downside. I don't think this is over at all. Can we see a retest? Absolutely. Do I think it's going to be like some super rally back to the upside? I don't think that's going to happen, at least for the beginning of the week. Maybe we start seeing some upside towards the end of the week. We do have some big earnings next week, so that could play a part in it. But right now, still pretty bearish. I still think we have more downside to go. Another thing to note is that I always say this, when Mondays typically mirror Fridays. And what do I mean by that? When Fridays are bullish, usually Mondays are bullish. When Fridays are bearish, usually Mondays are bearish. If you don't believe me, think back on the rally we had for like 5, 6 months straight. Almost every time Friday was bullish, Monday was bullish. And it doesn't matter if it was consolidation or anything, it still ended up green. This week, last Friday, Friday was bearish. And this Monday that just passed was bearish. It started off green and then it ended up plummeting. So it is important to note that. So we could be looking at some type of continuation Monday. Now, do I think we're going to get the same results as we saw today where we're just like plummeting? Tough to say. I don't really think so. Mondays are usually like very low volume days, but judging based on this Iran and Israel news, that can completely change. Okay, and yeah, that's really all I have. If Monday isn't some type of huge drop, then we could see that continuation on Tuesday. But we won't talk about that until we get there. Okay. But as far as SPY, that's all I really have. 490 is my key level here. And as far as upside goes, you just want to see I would like to see personally a move above 504. 500 is okay, but I want to see that break back above 504 to get rid of these bears up here because that was a level we just continue or we tried over and over to try and get out of, and we just failed consistently. Triple Qs. I told you guys my price target on triple Qs was 422, and I told you guys I would talk about my next price target when we get to 422, and well, yeah, we broke way past 422. So as you guys can see, let's go to the 4 hour time frame. So as you guys can see, we are at the top of the supply and demand zone, kind of at the top of the supply and demand zone. You see these guys over here, they're pretty much the reason why the supply and demand zone exist, and about right here. And even down here, you see these guys right here that's just constantly, rejecting. So that is the reason why the supply and demand zone exists, those guys right there. So as far as the next key level I'm looking at, 409 is my next target on the triple Qs. We get in the supply and demand zone at around 413. We get below 413, then we're heading towards 411. We get below 411. I would say 410 to be safe because 410 is our psych level. We are going to head towards obviously 409 at that point. My overall price target on the triple Qs is 404. Okay, 404 is my overall price target. 397 will be the lowest I'm looking at, but we'll talk about that when we get to at least 404. Okay, and potentially go lower. As far as upside goes, you want to see a break back above 424. Until then, there's not much to talk about. I know even myself, I'm looking for a retest because I would have loved to get in an entry on this market on these put positions, but unfortunately we didn't get that, or we didn't get the retest yet. That would have been absolutely amazing. So it is what it is. Missed out on that. But again, you want to see a break back above 424 to get back inside the supply and demand zone for any potential upside. All right. Nvidia. So congratulations to everyone who took that Nvidia 770 put. Absolutely killed that play. Um, where is it? So in my last video, I pretty much was saying that, well, not saying, but I told you guys that we were in Nvidia 770 puts. Where is it? Right here. So I am in Nvidia 770 puts for April 26th. We got in at around 850, and then we took profit at like 828, 826. So that's unfortunate because Nvidia just absolutely tanked. And I told you guys in my last few videos that my price target on Nvidia is 740. Even one of my thumbnails, well, not my thumbnail, but the caption in the thumbnail or the caption on the video says Nvidia to 740. So feel free to, look back and you'll see that was what happened. But again, congratulations on that play. Also, I think I told you guys about the AMD play. We took profit on AMD 145 puts for next week as well, and then we re-entered 141 puts. I meant to put 142 puts. I even let the Discord know that I made a mistake and actually entered 142 puts, not 141. And as you guys can see, we are up on that. I actually this actually is like at $500 right now. We're up like 200, 300% on that. And then I let everybody know. Actually, it's in the testimonials. And then I let everybody know. Oh no, I didn't screenshot it. But I let everybody know that hey, closing this, and yeah, that's it. So really good plays as far as Nvidia and AMD. I would have loved to hold. I wish I would have held Nvidia, but it is what it is. Profit is profit. We'll revisit it another day. But as far as Nvidia, my price target still remains the same, 740. Now, this is where things get interesting. Okay, I actually meant to show this on the SPY as well. We'll get back to the SPY in a bit. So, I didn't want to talk about this until we started getting bearish on the market or somewhat bearish on the market. We have yet to retest this guy. all the way down to about 550, 530 range. We have yet to retest this guy on the weekly time frame. We pretty much broke out and just absolutely left. There's also a supply and demand zone here at around 500. Now, I'm not saying we're going to head that low, but that is it's on the table. Okay. Now, again, this is on the weekly time frame, so I'm not saying it's going to happen anytime soon or might not even happen at all. But again, just to give you guys an idea on how that would look, or ideally, ideally, I would like to see a retest of maybe 900 one more time before the next leg down on the weekly, and we can start heading towards this guy and retest him. Okay. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at as far as Nvidia. Now I'm not saying that's going to happen. My next price target after 740 is around 650. Well, not 650. We'll say 740 and then 723. After that, you're looking at a move to 650. Okay, right where these guys are. Okay, hopefully you guys can see that. Let me zoom in. So right where these guys are, there's a lot of turbulence here. So it's pretty. I wouldn't say it's pretty illiquid because like once you get in this range, it's a lot of. It's once you get into 740s, it's pretty. It's a lot of turbulence. Okay, a lot of turbulence. So I don't see us breaking through these guys like immediately. But I mean, I could have said the same thing about these guys up here, and we just absolutely crushed them. So yeah, that is possible, I guess. We could break through these guys and just head lower. Again, after 740, I'm looking at as low as 650 next on Nvidia. Okay. And again, keep in mind, we have yet to really retest this guy on the weekly time frame. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, on the SPY, I think it's on the SPY. On the SPY, I believe it's somewhat the same thing. Maybe the triple Qs. Maybe I didn't draw it out. Yeah, I don't think I drew it out. But yeah, there was a pattern here. I can't remember which one I was looking at, but there is a pattern that we have yet to retest. Oh, here it is. Okay, ES. So ES we have yet to retest this guy as well. So yeah, we could head as low as 4600. Again, we'll talk about it when we get there. My price target on the ES is 4900. I think I mentioned that, but yeah, be on the lookout for that. But as far as Nvidia goes, yeah, that's my price targets. If you want to see upside, let's go to a lower time frame. You want to break back above 830. You can say 824, 825, which is where that gap was filled at. But right now, I'm looking at 830. Until we break back above 830, I'm pretty bearish on Nvidia. Okay, that's pretty much it. Okay, your key level. I mean, your key levels in between that is like 766, 767. After that, you're looking at a move all the way to 830. Okay. If you don't know, I trade supply and demand zones. I don't do all that support and resistance stuff. Supply and demand zones are king, in my opinion. So, yeah, that's what I'm looking at as far as Nvidia. I kind of dragged that. I'm sorry. AMD. So my price target on AMD is about 137, about 137, 138 range. We could say 140 just to be safe. Right now we are in AMD. We're in 142 puts. Well, the Discord is in 141. They might be in 142 puts. Um, no, we actually took profit on these, and yeah. So the only trade we're in is in Apple. We'll go over that in a bit. But yeah, AMD, my price target on this is about 137. So be on the lookout for that. Honestly, I think the semiconductors are taking turns. So ASML plummeted, and then we saw SMCI plummet, and then Nvidia started to do the same thing. And I think AMD is next on the list. I think AMD is going to start following um, the semiconductors. Okay, I think it's next on the list, and I think it's going to plummet. AMD can go as low as about 119, 120. We'll talk about that if we get our 137 price target. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at as far as AMD. As far as upside, you want AMD to break back above 158. It breaks back above 158, then you can look at a move towards 162, 164 range. But until then, pretty bearish on AMD as well. Apple. So Apple, we're in 162.5 puts. Yeah, 162.5 puts for next week. My price target on Apple is 161. Zoom in. Hopefully you guys can see this. Let me go to the daily time frame. So yeah, so remember in like I want to say my last video, I told you guys when patterns like when we break out of a pattern and it rolls over very bad. Okay, uh, Nvidia is a good example of that, I believe. I might have erased it, but yeah, I in one of my videos I told you guys we were breaking out of a like a wedge pattern or whatever the case may be, and it absolutely failed. And then it was rolling. Oh, Tesla was that. Okay, I think it's still. I don't think it's on here anymore. But what happened was Tesla, let's see, right here. So what happened was that Tesla tried to break out of this uh, falling wedge pattern, right? And I told you guys, good Lord, think or swim, come on. And I told you guys that when stock rolls over, it's not perfect, but you guys get the idea. When a stock breaks out of a pattern and it starts to roll over, it rolls over really bad. Okay, it like breaks back below that pattern. So this was a false breakout. Okay, so we can be looking at the same thing happening for Apple. Okay, where it breaks out, try to break out, because this is a false breakout. Reason why it's a false breakout, because look at the measured move. Apple should be going to like 200 based off this measured move. But as you guys can see, it's rolling over. And so it can go as low as 155. Okay, it can go even lower than that. 150, it can go lower than that. But right now, my price target on short term on Apple is about 161, 160, 161.5, somewhere around that range. But like I showed you guys on Tesla, this thing is rolling over and it can go much lower, guys. I mean, all the way to like 155. So be on the lookout for that on Apple as well. As far as upside goes, you want to see Apple break above 167. Me personally, I want to see it just get back into the 170s. Otherwise, not even remotely close to bullish on this thing. 180 is like your golden ticket to upside on Apple. But I don't see that happening anytime soon. I could be wrong, but for now, just yeah, not bullish on Apple. So I'll let you guys know how that trade goes as well. Tesla, I have a price target of Tesla of 140. I mean, like it keeps breaking these supply and demand zones. Now Tesla does have earnings next week, I believe. Yeah, Tuesday. I Yeah, I think it's just gonna keep going lower. I don't think there's no expectations on it beating earnings at all. I mean, I don't. If you think Tesla's gonna beat earnings, then good luck to you. But I think it's obvious that they're not going to beat. I could be wrong. Who knows? But yeah, I think Tesla's just going to head towards 140. That's all I really have as a price target. I'm not trying to look any lower because of earnings is in the way. But other than that, that's what I'm looking at as far as Tesla. Now, as far as the trades this week, we only lost two trades this week. I believe we lost QQQ calls and SPY calls. The SPY calls I told you guys about was the 506 calls, and then I tried to roll them over and got decimated on those. But as far as wins go, we are like I tell you guys, I rarely lose. We rarely lose in Discord. Okay, and I told you guys join this Discord before things get hot. And it's crazy when I said that, like the next day the market plummets. So that's pretty crazy. Yeah, we lost on this trade, the SPY 506 calls, and then we lost on triple Q calls, like 430 calls, something like that. So yeah, took two L's this week. Is what it is. That's pretty much the norm. Like one or two L's every week, and then we win like I don't know, like 10 trades or something like that. Um, we trade a lot. I trade a lot. Okay, people tell you you don't have to trade every single day. There's a setup every single day, almost every single day, unless it's like a Monday or something. Mondays suck, but otherwise the setups are there. People are just too scared to trade them, or they don't have a strategy to trade um, those type of or trade every day. They just have that higher low, higher high, all that stuff. But one thing I want to point out to you guys is that a lot of people are talking about SPY, right? A lot of people are talking about SPY and triple Qs being oversold and all that. It's funny when the market was rallying, no one was talking about how overbought the SPY and triple Qs was. Like no one. So obviously everyone's trying to be bullish still in the market. And I said this in the Discord, like you can't be biased in the market. If you want to be a perma bull, fine. If you want to be a perma bear, fine. But you just have to realize when it's the right time to trade and when it's not. And right now, if you're trying to be bullish, it's really hard after 5 6 months of the market rallying. It's extremely hard to swap over to being bearish. I understand completely. It is very hard to do. Okay, but when you don't switch over and you try to hold on to your bias, you start revenge trading. Okay, I see it all the time. You start revenge trading and you keep trying to call the retest to the upside. Once I lost that SPY call, that triple Q call, I was just like, yep, not going to do calls anymore until, I'm just going to look for bearish setups. Okay. So, and another thing is that everyone is like, SPY's oversold, Qs is oversold. The SPY and triple Qs does not care about being oversold or overbought. I think you would think that the rally would show you guys that when we was rallying to the upside, they were overbought for like weeks at a time. They do not care. Now, I will say the RSI is good for divergence and finding divergence, but that's about it. Okay. As far as being oversold and overbought, the triple Qs and the SPY, the futures, they don't care. Okay. So that's why I stopped trading RSI a long time ago, and probably a great decision. But if you're going to use the RSI, use it for divergence and confirmation. Divergences absolutely work, but that oversold and overbought stuff on the futures, yeah. But do what works for you. Okay, do what works for you. As far as next week, Monday, I think we're just going to see more downside. We be on the lookout for news this weekend or something like that. Maybe we get more bad news. Maybe we get good news. Maybe the thing boils over. Who knows? I would like to see a retest to the upside in case you think I'm a perma bear or anything. I would like to see a retest to the upside. Hopefully we get it. If not, then yeah, it's just bad. Okay, it's just overall bad. But that's really all I have. I mean, I guess we can go over the VIX. Yeah, there's not much to talk about here. VIX went to our target. I told you guys my target was 22. It got pretty close, like 21.3. So yeah, but IWM, the Russell, price target is still 185 on this thing. Surprisingly, it didn't take that big of a hit yet. I mean, it's been dropping, but today you thought it would have followed along a lot more, but it didn't. So yeah, SQQs. I'm still in my SQQ hedges. Right now, they're actually pretty good. They're looking pretty good. So be on the lookout for that. I think SQQ has more upside. My price target for the SQs is this gap fill right here at around 13, but that's about it. The next gap is like around 13.6. So SQ has a lot of gaps to the upside, guys. So just take that as a warning. But other than that, that's really all I have. Discord link is in the description below. If you want to jump into the plays, the halving is near. That means eventually I'm going to start making crypto videos and doing crypto signals in the group once again. So be on the lookout for that. Join the group for the crypto signals. Um, I'm going to start raising prices because the win rate is absolutely ridiculous in the group. It's like we're like at a 90% win rate now. So you don't have to believe me, but I show my plays like almost every single video. I tell you guys when I'm playing, win or lose, I let you guys know. So, I'm very transparent on what I do and I'm very confident on the trades that I do. Hopefully, this channel gets a lot more love. That would be great. But, you know, until then, like, subscribe, comment your thoughts below, whether you agree or disagree. I will see you guys in the next video. Have a good weekend, traders.